Welcome back. It's Lou again in Houston at the ISM Convention Center. And the ISM has a program that they call 30 Under 30, where they nominate people under the age of 30 years old who are really stars at what they do, working for companies around America. And they select winners. I don't know how many there are altogether that they select, but they do have 30 winners. But there is one winner who's referred to as the Megawatt Star. And I have the honor of sitting here with Jasdeep Sandhu.
Exactly right.
Who is the Megawatt Superstar for 2018. Welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's an incredible honor.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be speaking with such a bright individual. So we're going to talk a little bit so you understand what 30 Under 30 is all about and how the nomination process works. And so, Jasdeep, why don't you take over for me, and I'll throw in some questions in between.
Wonderful, yeah. So as I mentioned, it's an incredible honor to be here and to be nominated for such a prestigious award. The selection process, so it's something that you can't actually refer yourself. You have to have a leader or a manager recommend you. So I didn't even know at the time that my manager was referring me.
Really?
Yeah, so
nice surprise.
It was an incredible, humbling surprise to be able to know that you're making the right decisions and that your leaders can see talent and encourage, differentiation of thought and thought leadership. And I feel so lucky to have a manager, and I shouldn't say manager, a leader that can see the potential and knows how to inspire people.
This is better than a raise.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and the process contains, I think there's a written application where she has to fill out multiple different kind of answers to lots of different questions. There was a few rounds of phone interviews, and then there's a committee of, I believe, about 5 different individuals through ISM, and they must go through so many different applications.
I'm sure it's in the hundreds.
Yeah, and then they kind of assess based upon the criteria that they select for the year. I think it's really around driving thought leadership, taking risks, trying to drive innovation, as well as I know there's a lot more. And actually, I believe it's become an international association now because I believe there's 1 or 2 30 Under 30 winners from Japan.
Right.
There's a few from London, myself being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's incredible to see ISM do such a great job growing this incredible brand and bringing like-minded people together that have the passion and want to collaborate and want to just share ideas and work together to try to evolve our industry together. So,
what company do you work for, Jasdeep?
So I work for GlaxoSmithKline. We're a British pharmaceutical company, headquartered out of London.
Right.
And it's great to work for a mission-led company where at the end of the supply chain, there's a person. It's about delivering medications and vaccinations to hospitals and patients all around the world.
So you work out of London?
Currently I work out of London, yep.
But you were a resident of the United States?
Yes, exactly, yep.
So last year's Megawatt Star winner, Charlotte, her last name
escapes me right now as well, but she has so much energy.
Oh, she's amazing. And she came from Switzerland and now is a resident of the United States.
So I guess we did a swap.
You did a swap, so 1 for 1. So the population is still the same.
Oh, that's good to know.
So what is it that you do at GlaxoSmithKline?
Yeah, so I work within global procurement. My role specifically, I'm the global category leader of digital and tech innovation. And there's a lot of change happening in my industry, in healthcare, as there's a rush to digitize big pharma, as we work to create personalized medications and personalized treatments for patients all over the world. So my role specifically is focused on identifying startup organizations, new technologies, and helping drive a fail fast, fail forward type of mentality, where I partner with a business who have kind of outlaid lots of different problem statements. So there's 7 different innovation work streams that I support. I have a team that work with me to help kind of make sure that we're embedded and we're understanding where the teams are trying to aspire to get to, and then it's our job to go out to the market, to do market research, identify these companies, negotiate with them, do contracting, and to try to do it in a way that's truly agile. And that's really been a challenge. We've had to really evolve our function, evolve our processes, and the approach that I've taken is, let's pretend we're a startup company within GSK. Because we need to fail fast and we need to enable the teams to deliver quickly, and we can't do that if it takes 3 months to execute a contract. We can't do that if it takes months to pay our vendors. In order to really incentivize them and to show our commitment, we need to create custom processes to allow us to work with them. So
this is a rather challenging set of goals and challenging set of processes that you're involved in. Is that correct?
Absolutely. As Carly was mentioning, I think 2 days ago now, there's a lot of resistors, there's skeptics, and what we're trying to do is swim against the ocean, right? Swim against the tide. And there's a lot of change happening, right? And some people, change makes people feel uncomfortable. But there's something that I've learned in my career so far. It's that change is constant. It's probably the only thing that's constant.
It is.
And it's about sending your mindset right to not see it as a threat, but to embrace it and to see it from a positive light, to kind of stay on the forefront of it. Because if we don't, we're a 300-year-old pharmaceutical company. You have Steve Jobs. You have Tim Cook, who's the CEO of Apple. Last year stated that 10 years from now, you're going to remember Apple not for iPhones or electronic devices, but for health. And you have Google making all these acquisitions in healthcare. You have Amazon trying to become online pharmacy. So if we don't create agile processes, if we don't enable our teams to be able to work with these thought leaders and these new technologies and startups, then we might not be relevant in 10 years' time.
That's a very good point you bring up, because they've really got, not only do they have the talent, but they have lots of money. And what they can buy and develop and expand and make changes, they can just buy what's out there in the marketplace and then build on top of that, which is what they're doing.
Exactly right. So we have the science, we have the research and development, we have the R&D, we have the clinical trials information, but
you're ahead of them.
But we don't have all the tech expertise. So we need to find the right partners to go on this journey with us. And I think there's this trend happening in the market of co-investment and working with large, small, all size organizations to work together, to leverage on each other's strengths to come up with new innovative drugs, therapies, services, and solutions.
So you put in probably a lot of hours to do your job, but I read some fast facts about you. And why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do when you're not working, because this is an amazing story.
So the mantra goes, work hard, play hard, right? Or try to play harder as long as you can work hard and deliver. But in order to keep at the pace that I work at, it's also very important to have mental release. It's very important to be out there and to have time to be able to relax when you're not always working in a high intensity environment. So last year I challenged myself to go to 10 different countries throughout the year, and I feel incredibly blessed to be able to say I was able to do so. And this year I'm trying to up it by doing 12 countries. So new country, and I try to do new countries every single time I visit, not the same country. And it's just been such a rewarding experience to be exposed to all these different cultures, cuisines, people, different perspectives. And I try to film it, so I love drones. So I try to kind of make immersive footage and content for people to try to feel like they're going on the journey with me.
The only bad piece of news that I have for you is I think that it's only 200 countries in the world. So you have an end game here. Unless you will go back a second time to see what you didn't see the first time.
That's right.
So you're stationed out of London?
Out of London office.
So it makes it a little easier to do 10, 12 countries in a year.
A lot easier, and it's a lot more affordable. So the flights can be within 30 minutes, 1 hour. The furthest I've gone is like 2 hours to Lithuania. But just being out of London, it's such a hub for Europe. There's a lot of connection flights that go out of it. There's 5 airports just in London alone.
Is that right?
And the cheapest flight I took was to Dortmund, Germany, for 25 pounds round trip, which is about $30.
$30.
Yeah,
Right.
so-
That's amazing. That's amazing. So what are your plans for your future? I know you're at Glaxo now for 2 years.
About 4 years.
4 years.
Four
Sorry.
years, yep.
What's your plan? What happens when you reach 30? What are you going to do?
Yeah, so it's a very interesting question. I think it's always a challenging question to answer because.
Well, you got me before on one, so now I got you back.
That's fair. Because as I was saying earlier, change is the only thing that's constant, and I think you have to be agile and to take opportunities as they come your way. 2 years ago, I would never believe I'm in the position I'm in right now. So
Sure.
I try to be structured and organized, but you have to leave room for flexibility. But ultimately, as I go through my career, having a global role is very important to me. Not being, introverted or introspective, looking at just kind of one country. I really like the aspect of being open to the world and understanding different cultures and seeing how we can leverage different economies and build different solutions for them. I have an incredible leader right now, Christina Drysdale, and she's really inspired me and motivated me. She leads with empathy, and it's such an infectious energy that she creates and distills into our team. And I'd love to do what she does, have my own team, and learn to really understand their aspirations, their motivations, and to help them go on the same journey like she's done for me, and to help them achieve their dreams. So I'd love to build out a bigger team and to work towards digital. I think is a big passion of mine, digital and tech. So I see myself staying in this type of area, as well as building relationships. So it's hard to say specifically what type of role I'll be in, but willing to be flexible and adaptable as
Who knows?
opportunities come.
Who
Yeah,
knows?
exactly.
Who knew that I'd have a podcast company with
Exactly.
5 podcasts?
5 podcasts.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's
Yeah.
grown so much. 5 years.
Oh, we've learned so much about manufacturing. Now I'm in manufacturing, since my teens.
Wow.
And I obviously I know a lot. I've done a lot.
Right.
But in the last 5 years, talking to manufacturers all over the country, at all levels, small mom and pop shops, medium and large corporations, it's amazing how much we've all learned.
Yeah.
And how much we have contributed through our podcast shows to help manufacturers who don't have the time to learn all these things because they're busy running their manufacturing.
Right.
So we have been sort of the voice of manufacturing
And
globally.
I think that's so important what you guys do, because the last thing you want to do is fall into a routine. If you fall into a routine and you only look inwards, then you're going to eventually be either taken over by other organizations, or you could potentially lose market share. There's so much change happening around us. I think people should be tuned in to radio stations like this,
Right.
and always be trying to be a sponge, absorb as much information as you can, learn with others, collaborate with others.
Right.
So I think it's remarkable what you guys have done in just 5 years, and
Well,
I think
thank you. I appreciate that, and I appreciate your sitting with me for a few minutes talking about the present and the potential future. And thank you very much, and good
incredible
luck to you.
honor. Thank you very
and
much.
congratulations for your.
thank you so much.
Really
I need to
not-
get a yellow blazer. I love the.
Well,
it's iconic.
The only way you can do that is that you're going to have to be on the show more frequently.
Maybe we can work something out.
Yeah, we can do that. Actually, we have one gentleman who works for me who's in China,
Wow.
and he works for the metals company, and he also does a report on the Chinese economy and the interaction between
Incredible.
China and the U.S. We have a writer who writes for our magazine, Metals and Manufacturing Outlook, and he's from England.
Amazing.
And he writes some of our articles for us. So we've done a lot, we're doing a lot, we're having a lot of fun, and hopefully that we're
That's what it's all
giving,
about, right?
giving some benefit to those who could use it.
I'm sure
So,
you are.
Again, thank you very much. I
Thank you so
appreciate
much
it.
for letting me be here.
Thank you.